NFL owners poised to allow certain private equity firms to own up to a 10% minority stake in teams. The owners meeting right now in Minnesota. Those private equity firms reportedly have $12 billion to invest, with speculation that some of that would likely be coming to the Buffalo Bills. Owner Terry Pegula needs liquid assets to pay his portion of the new stadium being built, especially with the cost coming in higher than expected. Here's what NFL Commissioner and Western New York native Roger Goodell told CNBC last month about this private equity funding.
We think we're moving in a very positive direction, and hopefully I'll have something by the end of the year.
No more than 10%. Other leagues have capped ownership at 30%.
We're not other leagues, Julia. So I think we're going to do what's right for the National Football League. And we feel that we like our ownership policies. We think this is a compliment. But this is also something that's the initial cap. Could we raise it at some point in time? Of course.
All right, the big question, what does this mean for the ownership of the Buffalo Bills? Erwin Kishner is co-chair of the sports law group at the law firm of Herrick Feinstein, and he joins us live now from New York City. Erwin, it is great to have you on the show. I read some of your comments in other media outlets about this. It is a little bit complicated for those of us who don't follow private equity and ownership stakes in professional sports, but the NFL, really the last of the big pro sports leagues to allow this, right? Top line, what should we know about what these owners seem to be poised to approve?
Well, first off, Michael, it's a pleasure to be on the broadcast with you, and so thank you very much for having me. You're right. The NFL is the last of the major leagues to permit private equity or investment fund investments in their franchises. I think, though, at the end of the day, this was something that was necessary and that actually had to happen in a certain sense. The reason I say that is that the valuations of professional sports franchises, particularly in football, have been skyrocketing. The average franchise in football is $6 billion. And for minority interests to trade and to create some level of liquidity, this is a very, very logical solution to that. So, frankly, this is something of a long time coming.
In terms of the impact here in Buffalo, there has been a lot of reporting that owner Terry Pegula has been open to a minority ownership group coming in. The speculation there being that he does need some liquid assets here. He's got to pay for a new stadium. It's costing more than we thought it was going to cost. Do you see this especially being useful for small market teams, places like here in Buffalo?
I think, in football, there's really not as significant when you say small market versus big market. I think the lowest valued franchise is well over $500 million. Perhaps the most valued is well over, are generating $500 million of net revenue versus $1 billion for the most successful. And with the valuations peaking at around, something in excess of 7, 8, 9 billion for some of the more preeminent teams, this, as I said, was a logical conclusion. So as far as it translates to Buffalo and the Pegulas, this is a perfect way for them to fund their portion of what needs to be done for their new building, which I understand by all accounts is going to be fantastic. But just do the math. If the average franchise is worth $6 billion and you can do 10% of that at equity, in private equity, that's a $600 million slug of capital that can be used for other purposes, like a new building.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, no doubt. Finally, we don't anticipate that this will have any practical impact on the ownership for these teams, right, in terms of them making decisions about how the franchises operate.
No. As a matter of fact, one of the prerequisites in order for a private equity to invest in any of the leagues is to have not only a minority interest, but to have very little say. These positions come with almost no control rights, the most basic and fundamental of information rights. And so there's not going to be some perversive change in ownership or some catastrophic type event as a result of this. There's nothing like that. This is just a way to accomplish a limited amount of liquidity for ownership.
Attorney Erwin Kishner, thank you so much for helping us understand this. It is complicated, but you simplified it really well. Thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity to speak.
All right. You bet.